the next step that we've got to do is we've got to build our set. So your claymation has to take place somewhere. So that might be like this picture here where it's a park, or it might be something like a sunset, or this night sky. So you were given a box, and inside that, the box is going to be flat. So the box is going to come to you, and it's going to look like this. So there are a couple options here. You can use your box flat, either on the cardboard side or the white side. The nice thing about using the white side is you'd be able to use your crayons to color in the scene. So, for example, if I wanted to have, based off the colors I had, if I wanted to have, green grass, here I could have some green grass, and if I wanted to have, a yellowish sun, I could color and have a yellowish sun. So there are a lot of options. So if you choose the white side, you have the ability to paint on it, or color on it. If you have crayons or markers or paint at home, feel free to use that too. You were also given construction paper. The nice thing about the construction paper is if I want a blue sky, I just have to take my glue and glue it to the paper. And glue the paper to the cardboard. So you guys all know how to glue at this point in your lives. So I take a little glue and I put it up and I push it down to make the sky. So now I've got a blue sky. If you're going to do your box this way, if you leave it flat on the table, that's when you're going to want to have characters like my snake here that are kind of able to be moved on their own, that are not standing up. Because if I were to take my horse on a laying down flat surface set, it's kind of hard to tell that it's a horse. So think about what your characters are going to be when you're designing your set and how you're going to set it up. If you want to be able to use people and things like that horse, then you're going to take your box and you are going to fold these flaps. So there are flaps on the top and flaps on the bottom. You're going to fold the flats back and the slats back. And the nice thing about this is with the slats, you can take something heavy like a textbook or something like that, and you can put it on the back to hold it down. So you've got that. And then I would probably just tear off the top slats, but you can also just fold them backwards. By doing your set like this, whether you've colored it or drawn and taped and glued on it, you now, when you move your creatures across, have a good background for them. But you'll note there's nothing on the table, and you can see my table. So what I would recommend, if you do it this route, would be to take your paper and kind of fold it like that. So now you've got a base for your clay to move on your box, and you won't have to see anything other than what you have created and designed. The other option is to make it more like a house, where you might fold this in so that you can have things coming from different angles. So it's all up to what you choose, but with your set, get creative. and think about props and whatnot, and we'll do that later. Here are two sets that I've designed. They got a little crunched when I had to move them to my house, but this one is a park. And what's neat about the park here, it comes out. I made some grass that kind of stands up, and there's a park bench. But what's neat is I wanted my snake to be able to go down the hole. So you can't really tell here, but in my set, I cut a hole inside of it. Here. So when my worm comes across and I want him to go in the hole, I'll actually be able, well, this guy's a little too big. So this worm, be able to go in the ground as an inchworm and disappear. And you note he's coming out the bottom of the box now. So think about things like that. Do you want trapdoors for things to disappear? Do you want to have grass stand up like mine? Well, that used to stand up. Do you want to have clouds? I used cotton balls, but you could also use your construction paper. The other thing to think about is, how is your camera going to be? So if I pull my camera back really far, now I've got all this junky stuff I don't want to see. But if I get my camera just right, now I don't see all that extra stuff, and I just see my grass, my park bench, and my clouds. So make sure you're thinking of that too when you're designing it, and keep putting your camera on your phone up to see if what you're building is going to fit in your camera. Can't wait to see what you design.